what it means to be a side. My grandmama, when I came out, she would say, you got to put the sausage somewhere. But just because identifying as a side may not apply to me doesn't mean it's not valid in general. Drop a comment. Let me know. Could you date a side? That's somebody whose default sexual stance is no penetration. I'm talking about it on Thirsty Thursday on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. And as always, our best conversations are had over a cocktail. If you want to drink what I'm drinking and support a Black queer-owned business, we'll have exclusive cocktails tagged on my IG provided by Bottled. Bottled is a craft cocktail brand that ships mixed drinks directly to your front door. Whether you like dark liquor or light, they've got you covered. You can use our code at checkout to save 15% off and free shipping on your first purchase. Now, let's get into it. I love that. If you see the position side on gay social media and looked confuzzled, this show is for you. This is no penetration explained, and the show starts right now. What up, though? Jay the Gentleman here. That's at JAI, the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday, right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Tonight, I'm going to be joined by an MC, comedian, and actor. He does all the things, and he's got good nipples. I appreciate them fervently, and you may recognize him from this. Check it out.
Today is not the day. Get your fucking hands off me, or I'm gonna take out all my frustrations on you. Do it then. Do it. I can take it.
I'm so glad I didn't see that before. Okay. And then we're also joined by the nomadic, charismatic, and experienced side known as Teddy. Please welcome Sincerely Lutfy and Teddy. Lutfy, not Lufty, and Teddy, not Ted. Because I have been fucking up y'all names. Well, not you, Lutfy, because I've been talking to you forever.
I was ready for you to fuck up my name, and you didn't. And so, and just for you.
What? Such good boobs. Y'all got good boobs. I don't have mine out.
Dr. Lieberman did mine.
I don't have mine out, but I mean, I'm here for it. How are you doing, Teddy?
You said what?
How you doing?
I'm swell. I'm good. A little nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I'm always nervous when things are live.
If anything should make you nervous is Luffy's nipples. Those are the other two people in the chat.
I was promised that you were going to have your titties out. This is what you said to me.
You know, I was going to have my titties out, but I didn't want you to show me up because I'm not shaved. Today was back day, so they ain't as perky as they would be normally. It's a whole thing. You posted like a whole thirst trappy workout video on the IG. And I was like, and you got like half a button done on your shirt. So I said, let me just let Luffy be great.
Look, the thing about titties is that people like them in every shade and every shape. You could
yours are perky, mine sit a little low.
Some people like them. Do they swing to and fro? Can you time in a bow?
They don't look low hanging in this white turtleneck you got on. They look high and lifted up to me, but that's just me because
I got it pulled in. It's a tank top under here. It's a t-shirt under here. Then it's the turtleneck and then the overcoat.
There you go.
Okay, I mean, I'm here for whatever you got to do. Either way, they look great on my end, on my little screen that I'm looking at. So I'm shout out to you and your titties, both of y'all, all the other 4 people in the chat. So tonight's conversation is about sides. I know I'm going to need a cocktail for this one. Are y'all drinking on something? What are you sipping on, Luffy? So
I am sipping on I'm not going to show the name because I'm cutting no check. It's a protein shake. It's vanilla, it's vegan, it's good for you. 24 grams of protein per serving, and I put 2 in this bitch.
See, I'm over here, got a whole cocktail. I've got a whole Stanley cup full of cocktail, and he over here got a protein shake. Bullshit. Okay, Ted, Chetty, what are you sipping on?
Water, we're covering the label. and then a whiskey neat with a dash of orange bitters.
That's what I'm fucking
That's
talking
so
about.
good.
Get you a
That
little
sounds so
liquor
good.
in your system because we about to have fun tonight. Okay. All right, teammates. Special thanks to Bottles for providing craft cocktails for tonight's show. If you want to pick up your bottled cocktail, visit bottle.co and use our exclusive coupon code at checkout for 15% off and free shipping. Remember, for bottled cocktails, shake well and pour over ice. Are y'all ready for this, Luffy and Teddy?
Ready as I'm gonna be.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into the episode. There's always so much happening in the gay world, so I want to hear everybody's opinions on some current events. So, starting it off, because this is a good one. Rico Pruitt and Fat Daddy are two porn stars, and they recently both announced that they are retiring from porn. But Rico, different than Fat Daddy, confessed that adulting got expensive, so he made his way back to the small screen. My question for y'all, Luffy and Teddy, and everybody in the comments, is do we even think that content creators can retire from porn and stay out? Teddy, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, I think anybody can retire from anything. Like I feel like there may be not full-time work, but you may dibble and dabble every now and then because you may miss the rush that it provides, possibly, or depending on the scenes and the producers, the check that comes with it. But I do think you can retire from it, but you can retire, but will we let you retire as in the people who are watching? I don't think it'll ever be let go.
That's a good point, Luffy. Because Luffy, you are in social media and content creation. I'm curious. Do you think people can like get out and stay out?
I want to say yes. I feel like people can definitely get out of it, stay out of it. I don't know, because the money is quick.
Yeah.
Like if you got the fan base, the money can be quick, and it's not just the money, it's the fame, it's the attention. And it's not just the fame and the attention. It's you also get like mad booty and penis thrown at you now. And so
yes, he do.
when you know what I'm saying? So like when you go out to the club and you go out to these parties, like you have this whole prestige, this whole persona of being like a sex god. And so people are attracted to that, whether you're attractive or not. People are attracted to that. And so I think that the dynamic of this whole reputation mixed with the ease of money, because you know they say do what you love, right, and get paid for it. So if you love to fuck and you can get paid for it, then it sounds like easy peasy. So in short, can they retire? Yes. Will they stay retired? Maybe like Michael Jordan did.
But I do think that I think there's validity to what both of y'all said. Because Teddy, you said, "Will we let them retire?" I think people get addicted to being current. Like when you just put something out and all the girls been jacking off to you, or watching your content because you went to the gym today or whatever. There is just a rush that comes from everybody. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And content allows that to happen. Like I get a little rush when people be like, "Are you Jay the Gentleman?" Mm-hmm. I ain't doing porn, although you might catch a little ass shot every once in a while in my close friends. But I mean, everybody got a little ass shot in their close friends.
It can be a little addicting, to get that kind of attention. Imagine if you were popular in school. Like it's kind of that in the real world.
And I say real world. Know what that likes. I don't even know what that feels like.
Because it's not the real world. Like social media and everything is not always the real world, depending on how you use your platform.
Okay.
But it's not always the real world.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So a pastor in Atlanta recently went on a rant and threw a completely scientific, I'm using the air quotes around that, a completely scientific statistic that said 78% of gospel artists are gay. My question really is, what would the church be without the gay folks? Like, what would service be like without the girls in the church? I don't even know if y'all go to church. I do. And I know that the gays keep the church live.
I go to church, and I'm going to agree with it because I dated a gospel singer.
Like a prominent one?
Like, if I sung his song right now, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Don't sing it unless he's out, and that's the thing. Don't sing it. Of course, I got a follow-up question I want to know. But I don't want to ask because I don't.
Can we be honest here?
Of course, this is Dear Black Gay Men.
I can sing two different songs, and you know both of those artists.
I mean, I've dated a gospel artist as well, but I also have a thing for ministers of music. Like it's just something about a man behind the organ or on a piano or directing something that just gets me going. And I'll be lusting after the girls in the church service. Teddy, do you go to church?
I have not been in church in God knows how long.
Why?
Virtually, I've, I just haven't. I move a lot though, and so like making friends, making church family is also something different. So I get it from my family. So I attend some virtual services, but I am not. I don't go to church.
Okay.
Yeah. Last time I stepped
Okay.
in foot.
I can respect that. I can respect that. But again, either way, I think we can all agree church would not be as lively without the
Yeah.
girls. You wouldn't have a tenor section. You wouldn't have to have the organs, have the band. You wouldn't have a music director. You for
You wouldn't
damn
have
sure
hair,
wouldn't have good
makeup,
gowns, wonderful
And your ties
gowns,
look the way they look.
and
hair, makeup.
you'd have a whole bunch of Steve Harvey suits. Even though Steve Harvey don't even wear Steve Harvey suits no more.
Let me
But
log off.
got
That's my
it.
man.
Okay. Let's keep going. I'm black, I'm gay, and I'm a Virgo, so y'all know where I'm gonna be at midnight tonight. I'm gonna be up in my cowboy boots and my assless chaps waiting for the queen to drop her latest project, which is Cowboy Carter. Are y'all excited for it?
Yes, I'm putting my cowboy boots on and my cowboy hat, which is like literally right there. I got it at a shop when I was just in Mexico a few weeks ago. Literally had my friend pull over so I can get it.
Oh, you fancy. What about you, Luffy? Are you in the beehive?
I am not in the beehive. And when I say that, let me explain.
Hmm.
I grew up with no, 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 no.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
I come from the original birthing, well, semi-original birthing of the Beyonce and the girls.
Hmm.
And so I don't consider myself as a beehive because that's some new doctrine. But yes, I love Beyonce. I support
I mean,
Beyonce.
she been solo for like 25 years though.
She has, but what I'm saying is I grew up with Beyonce, and so I'm not a part of the hive. I'm like whatever was before the hive.
It sounds like you saying you Beyonce cousin, but you're not a nephew.
Yeah, I'm a cousin. First
Like
cousin.
you her generation. Cause I
I'm
mean,
her.
us and Beyonce ain't too far off in the age range.
Hmm.
No,
So I mean, I will definitely have I might only have one of the chaps because I will be in the comfort of my home and I am not a side. So do with that what you will. Either way, I think Cowboy Carter is going to change the game. What I'm excited about is the fact that she said this is not a country album. This is a Beyonce album. When she said that, I lived my absolute life.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right. Thank you for that. Some current events for the show. All right. If I hope everybody is awaiting Cowboy Carter because it's gonna be low. But check this out. Watch this.
LGBTQ plus community puts so much pressure on, sex and just like labels and positions when it comes to, being gay and being top, verse, bottom, feminine, masculine. Like it's already a lot. So being a side just makes it even more complicated for me because I'm just like that. Like what? Like what? Like I've even been told that I can't be gay because I don't like penetration, or how do I know that I don't like penetration if I haven't tried it?
Okay, so Teddy, my guest today, is in the side life. He's on the side of the
Llama.
culture.
Yeah, I'm a
Side.
cowboy.
He's I don't even know how to describe it, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna be joined again by Luffy a little later. But Teddy,
Yeah.
help me understand side because I don't get it. Because
Okay.
our culture really is very penetration centered. You are
It
a
is.
top. There was a long time where you were a girl or a boy, and then you were a top, a bottom, or a verse, and then the girls became verse tops and verse bottoms, and then it became oral top and a dom bottom and all the things, right?
Yeah.
So we're very, very penetration centered. How did you figure out that you're not a penetrative partner?
Um, so this is newer, and I also want to preface this with, and I'm not a complete and utter like full side per se.
There's a
I
such thing as a full side.
like, yeah, like someone who is like doesn't do penetration like in any sense whatsoever. I probably like within the last 2 years have done more exploratory when it comes to what it means to be a side, even like the term. Like it's not the most commonly used. But there was a point in time where I just completely stopped full on penetration for like a year and a half. And
Were
in
you abstinent for that
no,
year and a half, or were
like
you
3 months. I
like
mean,
you was hooking up still, but you just didn't had no dick and no ass?
yeah. And so in that sense, I met a this guy. We like were having good conversation, and then he basically said that he was a side. And so then he went into, and I'm like, well, what's the side? Like I didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until I moved here, I live in Providence. And so then after we had like this whole hour long conversation, I was just like so intrigued. Like, are you really getting off and enjoying yourself without all those aspects? And so we explored and I enjoyed it.
Okay, so are you really getting off and enjoying yourself without the Bucci cat and the eggplants?
Yeah, because there's still so much more to do than to penetrate. I think in penetrative sex, and I want to be clear. I like to coin myself as something very unique. I am a verse slash side, but my preference is side, but I will verse when I want to, which is rare these days.
Okay.
Rare. However, I think in the realms of being a verse, a top, a bottom, what we are doing is just you're doing some foreplay, but the goal is to get the whole. Something's going in.
Yes.
That's the goal.
Yes, you got to put the sausage somewhere.
Yeah, but I think for me, like what that comes with sometimes is like people want to do a quickie, or it's just like a quick hookup, and you're not actually taking the time to explore and get to know each other's body. I think like with the side action, it really does put emphasis and focus on exploring what your
Okay.
sexuality means, finding interest in what kinks are. If you think of the kink world, right? Like there are people who do kinks all the time, and some of their kinks never have anything to do with being penetrated, but they're getting off. They're getting whipped, they're getting tied up, they're getting tickled, they're getting licked in
But
different.
all of that, but Teddy, all of that sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work. And sometimes you don't ever get that itch in the middle of the night where you just want to bust a nut though.
Yeah, you jack off.
So you're saying that you're all, because it sounds like you're giving up hookups because you have this more intimate, more involved expression of your sexuality.
Not true, because I still and will continue until I'm tied down. Hookup. But in those hookups, I'm very specific about what it is that I'm looking for. And so
And
for
what would
me,
something like that be? Like you just want to
I'm,
get your dick sucked, or you just want to get nipple? Like what? Like is that like
it
a
depends
smoking stroke or something?
it depends on who the person is that you are connecting with. Hopefully it's not, it can be a repeated person and you built that rapport. So for me, a hookup is not always going to be something penetrative. I've done bait bro, like where we literally sat next to each other. We ain't touching each other, but it's like this intense, deep stare in the eyes, and we are literally going off and then climaxing at the same time. I have done full oral fixation where my tongue has went from the tip of the head to the soles of the feet to the back of the ass to the front. And my whole focus is to provide a tantric sort of experience for the person who is there. There's some people who don't want nothing but they dick suck. Like literally.
I mean, I am one of those people at times. It's just th- all of that. Again, it doesn't sound like that gives way for a quickie.
It can give way for a quickie because if you know what you're doing with your mouth, you can make it go
And you can begin and end a sexual situation, an entanglement.
without any penetration. Yes.
This is so I am I don't even know what to. I'm normally good for a question. Very rarely am I tongue tied, but I just don't understand. I genuinely do not understand this one
I think,
because
go ahead.
I think it's because anal is the easiest way to get to the destination. It's like there's a straight line to from me being horny to destination.
Fair. So to be clear, I also started in a game thinking that you just did each other. Then I learned because, pretending to be DL, but not really knowing nothing. And then when I got into the world, I was assumed to be a top. And so for like my first 2 years experience, that's what I did because that's what I was told I should be.
Okay.
And and then I met a partner, and like 6 months in, I'm like, I also wanna like I want it. Now I'm 37 now, right? And so like over time and over life, there has been a plethora of
Plethora.
a plethora of
Okay.
various experiences. Um, and I was literally talking to one of my friends about this. One of my most, and I'm not talking like with a partner that I've been with for a while. Like this was a repeated connection that has
Okay.
happened. And this person is strictly a side. And like we have it, and so this is the person like I'm like, I want to be tossed around. He's like, I want to be tossed around. So I'm like, let's toss each other. Within that time, there was tossing, and I know you're thinking like, how are you tossing each other? Well, it depends on what people like, right? There's a little bit of choking, biting.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Before you get there, they're talking to me in the chat. So let me. I got so many questions, and I definitely want to get Luffy in on this.
okay.
Okay, okay, teammates. Later in the show, Luffy and Teddy are going to be answering your burning questions for the comments during the break. I want you to drop a comment and let me know if somebody says he's a side. What's the next question you would want to know that comes up on a date? What would be your follow up? Let me know in the comments. This conversation has helped you understand what a side is. Don't be a selfish bitch. Go and hit the share button on YouTube. Tag a friend on Insta. This is No Penetration Explained. We'll be right back. I think I lead a pretty normal life. I'm a podcaster and a content creator. I'm pursuing my passions. So many of us, Black gay people, either live with a reality or a fear of HIV. Any movement toward a future where HIV is less of a part of who we are, I don't know that I can think of anything more impactful to our culture. Hit the notification bell because we're going live.
Like that's the least of my worries. The size.
Oh, I think relationships are becoming more complex.
Tuesday and Thursday every week. Welcome to Dear Black Gay Men live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey teammates, welcome back to Thirsty Thursday here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Luffy is a sexual mental health ambassador, and Teddy just explained why he identifies as a side. And I got so many questions. Okay, now that we're all here. Luffy, you are a sexual health ambassador. First, explain to the people what that means.
That means I promote you to be your freakiest, but your safest. For you to be very well informed with what you're doing out there. A lot of us know how to drive the car, but we don't know nothing about it. And so I'm big on pushing PrEP and PEP and condoms, the old school way. And just knowing where you are, who you are, and why you're doing the things you do.
Okay. So now we just had a whole conversation with Teddy about side. Like, what is the verb for side? Like siding.
Boring.
You're siding? You're being a side? We'll talk about syntax later. But you are not a side, Luffy, right?
Okay, it's my turn. No. If I can't stick, we must have quit. This is not gonna work for me.
You a top?
We gotta do it. We gotta play hide the penis. We gotta play hide the penis quickly. I don't mind a little oral, but that's just not enough for me.
It's not enough. Okay. And so help me understand, because sexual ambassador, you got sexual health ambassador, you got to be open-minded. Mm-hmm. But on your personal life, are you saying could you be fulfilled in a connection with a side?
Absolutely not. And as much respect to so let me just put this out here. If I got my significant other we can do whatever we want to do. But
Okay.
hide the penis is a game that we have to play. Sides, I respect it. I have a friend who is all about the sides. And if that's what floats your boat, sail on. But for me,
Okay. So let me ask you this, Teddy, as a follow up. So Luffy said hide the penis is mandatory. Being aside, when you are connecting with someone, especially in a relationship, do you have behaviors or activities that are mandatory, or is everything just up in the air for you?
Um, I do have things that are mandatory. Hide the penis used to be mandatory. Now it can be depending on who. I haven't been in a relationship in a couple of years, so this has not been anything. But my last relationship, we started with hide the penis. His true self came out, and he was truly a side. And so
But how do you stumble upon that? Is it that penetration has not been enjoyable?
our conversation, because it was intense, because I was just like, I'm either getting a hall pass or I need an explanation as why I'm not getting no ass. Like,
Okay.
and he basically said that sex to him is not the most enjoyable based off of past experiences. However, our connection originally that started was pretty much like just hooking up. And then we started spending time together. I promise you, the moment that we said we were in a relationship, the ass went on clink clink. And
I've
once we
been
got,
there. I've been in a situation like that and it was trash.
yeah, and then like, so then I just focused on building this emotional connection and like trying to see fulfillment in other ways. And then we started being, and I got to the point I'm like, I just feel like we're bait bros. I feel like all we're doing is giving each other head, a little nipple lick. Now, again, I don't even think he knew what it was, but I also need to be clear. I'm still new to the side world. So it's not no penetration ever. It's just that's not the first thing I go for. I don't
But Luffy, wouldn't you agree that if when I think aside, as someone who's not aside, when I think of aside, I think bait bros, a little nipple lick, suck a little dick, eat a little booty, and that's it. And to me, that sounds like a that sounds like a charcuterie board when I want some turkey and dressing.
put your
this
charcuterie and meat.
this sounds like a tease for me. This sounds like middle school grinding with your clothes on. Again, much respect.
Well, hold on. I don't think anybody's saying they got their clothes on now. They
No,
gonna
well, what I'm
get butt
saying is,
ball naked
it's what I'm
somewhere.
saying
I
is,
hope.
it sounds as sterile to me as that. I need, and I don't be wrong. I like, lick on that, and do all the things from the head to my toes, and move to the bed down to the floor. But we need to like I can suck my own dick. We need to
Can you?
Can
fuck.
you? Can you?
I
I, you
maybe
can't.
I can. Maybe I can't. But
Okay.
what I can't do
Okay.
is what we need to do.
Okay. All right. So to understand, because there was a question in the comments about understanding exactly what you like to do, Teddy. Because I think I hope it's coming off as a curiosity and not a judgment. Because I am
No,
very
Yeah,
curious
yeah.
about what it means to be a side. But to understand a little bit more about what you or sides get into, we are gonna play a game.
ready.
Aaron, I hope you're ready for the game. Am I ready for the game? I hope. We'll see. Tonight's conversation is centered around sex with no penetration, and to help everyone, including me, understand it better, we're going to play a game called Sassy or Trashy. Hit it. I love that little jingle. Okay, so I've got a list of sexual activities here, and for everybody, I have not even seen this list. I do not know what's about to happen. I just hope we don't get banned on the YouTube. But I want to know everybody to know. I want to know from everybody in the comments. We're going to be figuring out if a certain sexual activity is sassy, meaning on limits, within the limits of being a side, or is it trashy, meaning a no-go for you, Teddy? We're all going to weigh in. Sassy is good, trashy is bad. We clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we had to get creative with these pictures because it's only so much you can show on Beyonce's internet. So bear with us. But the first one is getting your nipples clamped. Sassy or trashy? Teddy, I'll
It's
start with you.
trashy for me. I don't want my nipples clamped. Mm-mm.
What about you? What about you and your
Um,
twins, Luffy?
if it's this gentleman here in the photo, then I'm with whatever.
Okay.
But anybody
Okay.
else is trashy.
You don't like, so is that you don't like nipple clamps or you don't like nipple play?
I don't mind nipple play. I have big nipples, so it doesn't take a lot. So to put a safety pin or a clothespin on my nipples is assault.
Well, hopefully it ain't no safety pin because
Yeah.
that's a piercing.
I like biting and nibbling of them, but I don't want anything clamped.
Don't
No.
bite me.
Yeah.
Okay, are you a hard bite or you like a little soft play, Teddy?
Depends on the moment. I like you to start with a nibble with tongue too. It needs to be a little wet, but then you can do a hard bite, but not as in leave a bruise. I'm still yellow.
Everything needs to be a little wet when it comes to the to Boom Bazooka Joeing. Like I don't want anything dry when I'm butt ball neck. That's a totally different topic though. Okay, the next one, thank you for that. The next one is giving and receiving oral. I think this. I hope that I'm pretty. The funny thing is I know who that is. Like I know that man. But giving and receiving oral, Luffy, sassy or trashy?
Sassy.
Okay. Teddy,
Real
sassy or trashy?
Sassy as fuck.
Okay. So when you do, because Luffy has disclosed his sexual position, he's much more top leaning. Teddy, you said you were a verse side. Is there an aspect like, do you prefer to give? Do you prefer to receive? Or is it up in the air for both of you?
To be honest, and I think I do it pretty well. I love oral in general, right? Like, so I love to rock the mic, to like Gawk 7,000 two-hand twist. Hopefully, I can use two hands because my hand's not small. If not two hands, then we will wink one work. I enjoy giving. I enjoy receiving. But I probably go first to giving.
Really? What about you, Luffy?
So what happened was I don't necessarily like to put my mouth on everybody's wanky.
Okay.
But if I'm feeling you, I'm okay. So I don't really like receiving oral like that. I told you I like to play out the penis. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
But yeah, but I am a pleaser. So I'm going to snatch your soul from your body in any way that I can.
So if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. That's what I'm hearing. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Real bad.
Okay. Real. All right. Let's keep going. Using a fleshlight, that's the next one. To get with another person, sassy or trashy? Come on, Max Connor. Teddy, sassy or trashy? Fleshlights.
I'm like indifferent. I'll say sassy because it can enhance certain moments, but I also just like using my hands. If I'm with someone else and that's their preference to have a toy on them, I will, but my hands work well.
Okay. What about you, Luffy? Sassy or trashy? Using a fleshlight with someone?
I feel like it's trashy unless it's like a double-ended fleshlight.
Like sword, like that sounds like sword fighting then.
But yeah, but like with a pirate in the middle.
Yeah. Y'all trying to spit roast a fleshlight. That's crazy.
But I'm curious, like for you, Ted, because again, Luffy and I are pretty aligned at the saucer's got to go somewhere. But my question for you, Teddy, though, is a fleshlight just seems like a replacement for penetration.
So for me, I'm not even huge on toys. Like I've spoken to, like I don't like, and that's the other thing. I don't use a whole bunch of toys. I don't have like vibrators or prostate stimulators. I just don't. So Palmyra and Pamela allow me a great threesome whenever I would like it.
I love that. Okay,
So
let's keep
I've
going.
never owned a fleshlight. I have had one used on me a few times, and it was fine. But at that point, just give me your mouth,
Okay.
or at the time, I would have been quick to just be like, let's just give me some ass.
It feels like reverse lesbian play.
You know, somebody was in the comments saying lesbians do it better than the girls, though.
They probably do. That's why they all still together now.
Well, okay. Let's keep going. The next one is bondage. Sassy or trashy? Luffy.
I'm going to say I got too many trust issues. It's trashy.
Because of the trust issues or just because of bondage in general?
I don't know. I'm so indifferent actually because I feel like I said when it's my person, we can do anything.
Okay. What about you, Teddy? Bondage.
I've never done it. I'm gonna agree. So I definitely have trust issues. Like you tying me up, like what are you going to do to me? So it would need to be a partner or someone that I truly, truly trust. I would like to try it, but it has to be with someone I truly trust. It
And
would
this
never
is the
be like a random.
one time where I'm totally different than y'all.
Yeah. Are you sassy with bondage?
Did I freeze? Can y'all hear me?
Somebody freeze up. I didn't know. I sat still.
Can y'all see me?
Hmm. I think it's Jay. So you like this one, huh? You do this one?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
This like be no. Well, I want to try it. Like I want to try a few things, but I don't know. But I've never done it. I have an issue with giving up control, and this is like part of the portion that this will require me to give up all control.
I just don't want to end up on the first 48
And exactly,
and like butt naked on the first 48.
I don't want to end up on the first 48 either.
Yeah.
But if I'm in this position and someone do something crazy and they leave and
Mhm.
I make my way out, I will end up unsnapped.
That is very fair. Absolutely fair. But like I said, I'm the pleaser, so I'm like, if you tie me up, and what do I get to do?
I don't know because if you're not like super big into oral, like tying you up, I don't know what it will do. People who get tied up like are restrained, in from my understanding, I've never
Hmm.
done, nor have I tied someone up. I used handcuffs before, but they are looking to not have the ability to run away from what is coming to them. So, in my opinion, those who are looking for such is like you want to give that person complete and utter control. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's not like that, and that can just be
Mm,
people who are into getting spanked. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
mm.
I'm assuming that's where that will come in at.
I need all of my senses unbound.
It's so weird. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
It's so I've never froze before. This is so weird. I've never been here before.
it's okay. We
Mm,
welcome you back.
yeah.
Because clearly y'all kept talking. So let me
Yes.
understand. Let me understand. Let me get into the frame. So where were we at? Y'all were talking about bondage, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I have trust issues with someone tying me up, and like if it's a partner, sure, but like if I'm doing like a hookup and they're like, "Oh, I'm Kiki, I'm into
Oh hell
bondage,"
no.
you can bond somewhere else because we're not bonding.
You're not
That's so
bonding.
interesting. I'm totally different. I'm the exact opposite.
Mm.
So you would want to be tied up
Of course.
by a hookup?
It not a new hookup, no.
Oh,
But see, at least you have rapport with someone. I don't even know if I
yes.
have
Yes.
rapport enough. The people I have rapport enough with, I don't know. Mm-mm.
I'm
I
kind of
just
like, why? Let me turn on my
let me
location real quick.
go. Let me go. It's giving me Harriet Tubman, like trying to find
It's
me.
giving me Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, okay, okay. Is there another one, Aaron? Now that I'm all discombobulated, what is this one?
Oh, P. Diddy House.
Fraudage or grinding?
Okay, can I go first? Because it's sassy to me.
Okay. Perked up there, didn't you, Teddy? Perked up there.
See why he
Got
likes
it.
sides.
I mean, okay. So what about Fridays does it for you?
Is I think it's the lead up to like the next thing. I've done frottage in like different ways where you are laying down on top of each other and it's front to front. I've done it to the back. I've done it standing up, heat in the front, me choke. My thing is like between his like it's something about it that again, that man that we tossed each other around. That was like my first real frottage experience because I'm like, this ain't gonna do nothing for me. But in reality, it was like out of this world. It felt the same as penetration, but it just didn't go in anywhere. And that's because he was a true and full
See,
utter
that's where
side.
you lost me.
As I am still, like I said, I'm still in my exploratory
Virtual
phase.
high five.
That's where you lost me. Like it felt the same as penetration.
It did. I don't know how to describe it. Like I also was like at a loss of words because I talked a lot of junk leading up to us getting to that point. Like this ain't gonna do nothing for me. And I'm like, I thought there would be toys involved, and it was just mouse, hands, and I enjoy feet. So feet.
What about you, Luffy? Before I add my 2 cents.
This is all lies, and this is all a scheme set up by Todd because you're not going to
Perpetrated by
take,
Todd to get us caught up in the bullshit.
baby. What you're not going to do is somehow trick me that your scruff up against my feels like the bajuchi. It's not. It's that's not booty hole for me, baby. And like I said, look,
It's not
on
booty
some real
hole.
shit. Like I don't want to knock nobody for what they do.
Yeah, you're
Fraud
not.
if you want to fraud all day long, baby, oil it up and slip and slide. But it's going to be trashy for me if again we're not playing hide the penis.
I mean, technically, the penis is being hidden. It's just not
It's
going
not.
in.
It's not technically not.
So the reason why it's trashy for me is because it just feels like dancing.
Mm. But
It's a
naked.
Like
circuit party laying
like
down.
rubbing parts up against each other, especially with clothes on, is what I can do on the dance floor.
Right.
And dancing does not orgasm make
I think that
for
mm,
me.
for me, I
For
like
me.
For me,
For me.
dancing does not an orgasm make for me.
you need to put that on the t-shirt.
But thank you. Let me get my internet situated, and then we'll worry about t-shirts. But now I will. But the question that I have for you, Teddy, because grinding does work. Do you have like when you're a side? Is one of y'all a top and one of y'all a bottom?
Mm. I mean, that wouldn't be
Like
necessary.
who grinds who? How do you determine that if y'all are some sides or if
Who the boy
grinding is
grinder? Who the girl grinder?
Oh, there's never a girl grinder. Um, see that double edged. Uh,
yeah, double edged.
so
I heard it. I heard it. Who's
it
the
just
top? Like who grinds who? How do you negotiate that?
And what are you
I think
grinding? Sorry.
what do you grind? So if you are front facing, we're gonna use this and this and this are grinding here, and there's passion to it. You're not just frotting, you're still like kissing and all those things, but there's a certain motion that you are stroking each other. But then also you have it's doing a bit. And I have I have
Who's
done
doing the bending?
most of the, I guess if you want to call it that, more of the control of it. Grinding the front and grinding
So
the
you
back.
not doing the bending.
No, I like to be bent. I like to be bent. I like to be tossed around, but again, you don't always have to be penetrative. Like I said, this to me is still more exploratory. I have never identified fully 100% as a side. As for me, I don't know if I'll ever fully be able to give up penetration, but penetration is not always to the forefront of any sexual experience I have.
But I think I do think that the reason why this is so interesting to me, at least, and Luffy, you can chime in here, is because when I say that I top or I bottom,
Mhm.
there are certain assumptions that just hold true and are consistent in our culture. Like if I'm a bottom who if I'm a top who likes getting my ass ate, then I know well enough I gotta communicate that. Like if I go and I'm hooking up with a bottom, I'm not assuming that they know that I want my ass ate if I'm the top. I can express that, but there are just certain boxes I can check if there's a position associated with it sometimes.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, well, what boxes are you checking if you aside? Luffy, let's recognize the light skinned one with the beard.
I have a question for Miss Frizzle. Um, when you are going for one of these side ventures, do
Mhm.
you prepare the booty
No.
for potential activities, or do you just show up just baby old and ready to fry?
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Teabag, you talking to
I think
me?
you should always prepare because people still want to eat it. They
I
want
mean,
their.
but I mean the inside.
I think so. Me personally, if I say this is what, like, we need a discussion about what the expectations are for said activities. Because there can be I've done some wild stuff. We can talk about that offline, but I've done some wild
We
stuff.
can talk about it here.
Yeah, like I
I
have
mean,
done.
if you're comfortable.
Oh, it's fine. Like it, there's no kink shaming, right? And like sex is sex.
No.
So I have literally done where someone has wanted me just to come over and provide a golden shower. And that was it. And that was fine for me because sometimes for me, seeing you satisfied is enough. Like I can walk away. And so I think it depends on who you are connecting with, how often you're connecting, and then what y'all talk about what you're doing. Like if I've talked to someone and I'm like, this is what I'm looking for, they want to know. They're gonna say like, what are you into? And I started off first slash side, heavy into oral, kissing, frottage, put your feet in my face, on me,
Come on,
everywhere, if you can, if you're comfortable
toe in
with
the
this.
booty.
No,
Oh,
Because
but
that's penetration.
they can put it pretty much everywhere else. My preference is my face and to pinch my nipples with your toes. So,
you a freak. I like it.
Well, okay.
so that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like, I also think no matter what you are doing with any sexual activity, you should be ready for whatever there is to come. So you should be showered. And I still, even if I'm not getting
Mm.
penetrated, I will still clean myself because eat these cookies.
Eat these fucking cookies.
Like Vanjie said, eat these cookies.
Eat these fucking cookies. Okay. All right. Even though I'm on my phone, we still got to keep to a structure here. Aaron, you're gonna have to help me out. We got a break in there somewhere. I think I gotta pay some bills. So take me to the break. I ain't on the script. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. We'll be right back.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
Okay, teammates. Welcome back. Bring them back, Aaron, because I can't do nothing from my phone. Okay, so now shifting gears a little bit. We've talked a lot about behaviors. I'm
Mhm.
very curious about perception. Teddy, with Luffy and I have been very curious about this side identification, this whole 49 minutes now. Do you feel that gay culture is receptive to being a side, or you got to find, your own little tribe inside our culture?
I think I would probably get roasted for this answer, but I feel like the black gay culture, and he am a black man, there is a focus and emphasis, and it's fine because that's where I started at, and it took time for me to develop on tops are masculine, bottoms have more femininity. Um, the standard thing. I think white gays have been sides for forever, even before the phrase was coined. And so when I think about my gay experience, my focus is on the men and male identifying individuals who look and identify as I. And so I have had some people who will strictly say, like if I'm like, oh, I'm just looking to do oral, they're like, oh, that's not for me. Like I'm not leaving my house for that.
I'm one
That's
of
just
those.
doing. And so then for me, I say, okay, toodles. Because like if I don't want to give up D or give up cakes, then you're going to get still a great experience. But that's just not what I want at that moment. And so I do think there are some people who do, and I'm some people sometimes, but then also you find the people who work that have a struggle with finding sexual partners, sexual connections when there isn't a full understanding of the gamut of things that come with it. Again, I think people who are strictly side, never or don't have any interest in penetration, there are so many other things, even if you do penetrate, there are still so many other ways to get your sexual prowess fulfilled.
Okay, so Luffy, I'm gonna come to you, and I would really like you to put your sexual health advocate hat on for a minute and help me understand. Do you think that our culture, black gay culture, because dear black gay men, do you think that we have space to have, this very diverse definition of sexual gratification? Because that's what Teddy is saying, that there's many ways to skin this cat.
I think
That
so.
I
Let me be serious with it for a moment. I do like to play around. Again, I get into the dramatics of the joking, but I just don't yuck anybody's yum.
Mhm.
I feel like in our time, in our culture, in our whatever you want to call this, there are so many sectors of what love looks like, what sex looks like, what pleasure looks like. And it's not one recipe for all. If I ask you to make a chocolate chip cookie, you're gonna make it different than my grandmama will. You're gonna make it different than my favorite chocolate chip cookie store is gonna do it. And
yes.
so again, love and sex can come in so many different ways. And so I do believe in this culture. It is very much so. I want to say I'm going to have to say it is driven towards the whole penetrative sex. It is who's the top, who's the bottom, who lays right in the middle, who's going to do what, how is this going to work. We see it, aesthetically as superficial as guys, females getting the BBLs. We see it in so many different ways where the ass, the vagina, is glorified, and penetrative sex is glorified as well. And you heard it from my mouth. I'm glorifying it. I likes to play. I likes to hide. I like to do the whole thing. But we're at a space and
Yes.
time where we're all acceptable. And so again, if you feel like a side is what you want to do, then go ahead and have your sides. If you Some people don't have sex at all. They can get off with just the kissing. If that's what works for you, what floats your boat is what floats your boat, baby. I'm not knocking
I okay. I mean, I received that. I
it. Just be
received
safe.
that. It's a lot of aspirational talking in there. I will say that. A lot of
Mm,
aspirational talking because
mm.
again, we don't want to yuck anybody's yum. But Teddy, is that the reception that you've gotten that
Oh, sometimes people yuck it. Here's the thing, I know how to get myself off. I don't need another person in order to have some sort of form of enjoyment. So
Mm.
for me, if that's not what someone wants, fine. I also would say I know we live in like a hookup culture, but every conversation,
Very
every connection does not need to lead to sex. We can go to the
mm,
goddamn flea market for all I know. That fulfills me too.
mm.
well, okay. Because
What we gonna do with
I
that?
had to catch myself because I was totally about to yuck your yum right there. But I
I
but
mean,
I have to be open minded because I'm hosting a podcast, even though I've had all these technical issues. But before we get there, we're gonna take a break and come back to burning questions. Aaron, are you ready for that?
Did you know that there are more than 38.4 million people living with HIV globally? Or that 13% of people who have HIV in the US don't know it? Did you know that there are HIV vaccine clinical trials throughout the US to find a vaccine that can stop HIV? Or that they need volunteers? Learn more about how you can help at helpendhiv.org.
Whew. Teammates. I think I got myself situated because, baby.